made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Invisired. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 366 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we have the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Susan Mitchell, and if you want to hear how to tell the truth about chiropractic, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today we have Susan Mitchell coming in from Bloomington, Illinois. We were just joking around how big of a town that is. It's 2 hours south of Chicago. So just to clarify that with everyone. This is episode 366. That means the last one we did would suffice. You can listen to an episode of Chiro Hustle every day for an entire year if you chose to. So this is a big thing because that gives people a year's worth of content. If they really wanted to hear the chiropractic story, step by step, listen to an episode every day. I invite you to. Before we get into this amazing episode with Dr. Susan, we do stand for some things. And one of those is we protect free speech in chiropractic. And that's a standard. And I think that people have to come back to the basics again and know that free speech is something that makes the United States of America quite important. And these life, liberties, and pursuit of happinesses are all because of that, some of that essence. So now that we have that established, we do protect free speech, but we also support subluxation-based chiropractors and the lexicon of innate intelligence, universal intelligence. And the adjustment's so important to people. And last but not least, we do also protect the sacred trust. If you don't know what that means, I should make hats that say sacred trust on them. And go out there and use your favorite search engine and find out what the heck sacred trust means in chiropractic. You'd probably be blown away, and you'd probably be a more of a proponent to support that mission as well. So with all that, thank you for joining us today, Dr. Susan.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Chiropractic, it's a big thing, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. Yes. Huge. And not just in my life, right? But just all around the world.
Yeah. So I think one of our favorite parts of the whole journey of what we do with Chiro Hustle is getting your story. What is your story? Your patients, your friends, your colleagues, like everybody's going to hear this now. So let's refresh them. Who the hell are you?
Yes. So I got introduced to chiropractic when I was a teenager. I was in a car accident and having terrible migraines. And so I started getting adjusted and I was 16. So all I knew is I got to drive the car to school that day if I had an appointment. So I was happy to go 3 times a week and get to drive the car, right? That's all I knew. And my headaches went away, of course. And then I started working for that chiropractor as I was going to college. And I had worked there about a year and recognized that I wasn't getting sick anymore. The thing I didn't realize is I was getting bronchitis twice a year. I was sick for a couple months at a time. And I just thought that was me. It didn't occur to me that I could do something different to be well, right? I just thought like illness happened to a person and that's the way it was. And really was just a victim to my illnesses. And so started communicating with him and learning about chiropractic and how the body works and how the body heals, and got really turned on by that. And just seeing all the miracles in his office, as his front desk assistant was amazing. And the one that pushed me over the edge was a baby who came in 2-week-old about, and this baby had been screaming since she was born, would sleep 15-minute intervals, just suffering, for 2 weeks. Mom was I've never seen anything before that or since then. And this baby got adjusted and stopped crying immediately. And the doctor I was working for at the time, it was such a contrast, screaming to quiet. And he's like, later he told me, I thought I killed her. Like it just, like stopped so immediately. And he didn't, obviously. And that baby went home and slept for 17 hours. And so, and was fine after that point. Of course, continued care, but was well after that. So that's the day I called Palmer Chiropractic and started my journey.
Yeah, I used to get migraines pretty regularly, and then chiropractic started helping me with that as well. So it's
Yes.
always a good story.
Yes. Love it.
So what are some things that make you unique or different in the chiropractic world?
I think that probably my ability to gain rapport and communicate chiropractic. I think that's something that's really missing in our profession. I know friends that I had that graduated with me back in 1996 up until now, chiropractors that I've seen that have failed in practice or are struggling, they just don't know how to communicate, and especially the chiropractic message, what I call the truth. So it's that is just being able to see the person in front of you and take care of the person in front of you and really communicate what we have to offer.
Yeah, I think we should talk a little bit more about the word truth, because one of the things I really hammer home on our opener is freedom of speech
Mhm.
and supporting the sacred trust. And I think truth is a branch word of trust. Maybe we could talk a little bit about the word truth and communication for what's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure, I think there's something to be said for my truth and your truth, I think, and honestly, anybody that's lived for any amount of time, your truth changes over time, right? So, but there's one thing I think for me personally, anyway, that has not changed, and that is that the body is designed to heal itself. Those 33 principles. It's like the body's designed to heal itself, and gosh, we've gotten so far away from that. Like that's probably what made me the most nuts through this whole pandemic is that eh, we're just so far away from, again, what I call my truth, and also what I call the chiropractic truth. Just how the body heals itself. So that's what I hope that we can get back to is just getting back to the basics and what we really know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I've always loved a guy named James Chestnut.
Yes.
He's a Canadian guy, but he was in a movie called Doctor that I watched years ago. And he started a revolution that I absolutely fell in love with, which was eat well, move well, be well.
Mhm.
And the only part that I thought we should add an extra like asterisk in
Mhm.
was get adjusted first.
Yeah.
Because it
Mhm.
all works better when you're adjusted.
Yes, yes. That's
And
right. That's right. It's so funny. I was just thinking about him the other day and that because I hadn't thought about him in years. And it really is like, gosh, we've just made it so complicated and it really is not complicated, right? So it's just supporting the innate intelligence. Like that's just it.
but that was a narrative that was never really even touched on or discussed over the past 2 years plus, is
Yes.
that if you just live within natures of law and you take care of your body, you feed it good food, you're active, you get proper amounts of sunlight, you have a properly functioning nervous system, has a direct linkage to properly functioning organs, has a direct linkage to a properly functioning immune system. So those were the parts that really didn't get discussed. And I have a chance to go see Gary Vee speak in this month,
Mhm.
and I have an opportunity to get a question asked by
Mhm.
this like luminary, like marketer businessman, and I'm really curious. I want to ask him, relevancy, like, how does chiropractic fit into the future of healthy people?
Mhm.
And getting a soundbite like that will be invaluable for what we're doing as a profession. And you're right. If we can just bring it back to the basics,
Yes.
is what is the truth?
Yes.
Well, that's why we exist as a show, because we do produce truth. And the truth is definitely something you don't have to protect it.
Yes.
It's like a lion. When you let it out of a cage, it protects itself,
Yes. Yes.
you know.
So true. And that's, yeah, that's what we got. So, it's like the truth is so simple and it doesn't make millions of dollars. It's just the truth. And so that's what I hope that we can get back to. I hope our profession can get back to. They always have said since I've been in chiropractic that this is the best time to be a chiropractor, and I think it's been true all along. But it's like, man, like our communities are really, they are sick of the medical model. They're like, wait, I recognize now I've been being lied to. Like, so they're looking for another answer, and all we have to do is say, hey, over here, I've got the answer for you. I've got it. And that's where we really have to step up, because this is such a huge opportunity to get the truth out there.
Yeah, we almost have to rebrand the messaging. And that's another reason why this show is so important, because inch by inch, it's a cinch. And if we just keep on putting a little bit more out there and a little bit more out there, now your community gets a bite-sized nugget of your story, and all these other amazing practitioners get just a little bit more message out there. And I think that you're right. We just have to keep on producing the messages and spreading more truth, so people have something to actually break through the static and noise of what the narrative is on mainstream media and what they're being told. I always call it the neighbors, sisters, cousins, brothers clause, is that somebody's going to tell them what chiropractic is based on their knowledge, rather than finding it out for themselves. And I think that that's something that we can all do a little bit better on. And getting the message out to more people is staying consistent on brand and making healthy communities. So with that, I was just off camera with you, and I was like, how long have you been doing this coaching thing? You're like, wow, a decade. So I'm sure that there's some influence that you have based on that position as a coach, how you might give people advice on how to grow their practice, or if they're stagnant, how they can reboost it. So what are some of your techniques that you would tell somebody if they wanted to get more conversions, number one, but get people into their office and get under care? How would you tell them to go do that?
Yeah, I think, in thinking about that, one, it goes back to what we just said. And that's like, tell the freaking truth. Like, just don't make it about you. There's so many doctors that I've coached over the years, or that I've come across, that they're worried about what other people think about them. They're making it about them instead of about the person in front of them and the person that needs their health or their community. And so we don't always tell the whole truth, because we're afraid of, oh, this person might not like it, or this person might quit care. That's not your business. Your business, in my opinion, in practice, is to tell the truth and tell them the whole truth, not the only piece that they want to hear or whatever. It's like, that's your job, is really just to educate them and tell them the whole truth. And if you do that, then you're not always searching for new patients, right? Like, I haven't marketed my practice for years. I can't even tell you how many years. And so it's always just been about service. Now, back in the day, my butt was at a home show all weekend. It was not fun, but I say that it was long days, but it actually was fun, right? Because I got to share what I knew about chiropractic, and I got to see those light bulb moments go like, yeah, the drugs aren't working, or the shots aren't working. And so I was able to educate my community face to face, and then really see that, especially 25 years ago, chiropractors were still kind of thought of as crazy. And, I'd have people come up to me and say these horrible things. And I'm like, what? Like, no, that's not who I am or who we are. But, I think it's much easier to get in front of the public, right? Like, you have Facebook ads and you have social media, things I don't even know anything about, but you can get your face out there so much easier, a lot less work, I guess, a lot less time. But as far as converting them, just tell them your truth, be, authentic, and because people can see through the bullshit anyway. So it's like, don't just tell them everything that and really be service oriented. I heard at a Parker seminar 100 years ago, is like, if you take care of the person in front of you, the money will take care of itself. And I've just always lived my life that way. It's like, you don't have to worry about the money. You don't have to worry about the practice if you're just taking care of the person in front of you.
3 things quickly. If we don't tell them the truth about chiropractic, someone else will sell them drugs or surgery, period.
Yes.
So that's first thing. I learned that from a guy I never met before, but that's a Barry Anderson quote. And I always thought that was so powerful.
Yes.
And Yeah, I think that the more that we understand that it's not always going to be well received, but it's not well received when people are misinformed,
Yes.
and that's even worse.
Yes. At least you can sleep at night knowing that you told them the truth. You told them what could help them. Of course, it's not every single person's going to say, yes, oh my gosh, give me everything you have. But at least you planted the seed. At least you did your part, your version, or your contribution. And then it's up to them what they do with it. But you've got to do it.
Well, and I'm going to hopefully bring some structure to what you said about the world of marketing being, used to be you'd go out and do the home shows, and it wasn't fun, but it was fun because you got a chance to tell the story. And then you said, but now people can do like the whole Facebook thing and run an ad, and that's easier. I have to say I disagree with some of that because it is a lot of tedious activity on the backside of that. So it's not that you have to stand out there toe to toe with society, but you have to stand digitally toe to toe with society, and you have to make sure that the thing is performing the way you want it to. And you have to know that you have good wrench turners in the background that are making sure that it doesn't get shut down, that it doesn't get flagged, that it's performing the way it's supposed to, that the bank accounts are linked, that people are getting notified. Like there is a mountain of things that go on in the background that don't make you go sit at a trade show or sit at a home show. But what it is it sets you up to know that there is another avenue. But I think it takes just as much work to do a digital campaign to get new patients. And then they might not even be the right ones that you want.
Yes. And that's what I was thinking when you were saying that. Like, it's so true in that obviously I would much rather have a person that I met at a screening or someone that I met at a workshop that I did, because now I know they're educated. I know they're a right fit for me, where, I never really did do like print ads and things like that, because then you're filling your office with people that they're just there because you're giving them a discount on something. It's like, that's a waste of time, so, and that's not true either. You can help those people, but
it's not your avatar client.
Right. Absolutely.
They see it from a different perspective because they have a personal relationship with you.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So when you're not busy taking care of other people, how do you take care of yourself with diet, nutrition, and staying fit?
Yes. So I love to work out. I work out regularly. Of course, I get adjusted. It's amazing to me how many chiropractors don't get adjusted regularly. Which is, and oftentimes those are the same chiropractors that are having a hard time build their practice, right? And it's like, well, I don't have time to get adjusted, or I'm not going to spend the money. It's like, what? Like, okay, that's incongruent. So getting adjusted. I've been thinking about, I'm embarrassed to say I'm terrible about water. So I think I'm going to get a backpack, like how you take hiking, and I'm just going to put the strap. Like, is that weird? Is that awkward to adjust with a backpack on? I don't know. But that's one area I can improve. But
do it.
This dude keeps inspiring me to do the 75 hard. But in winter, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm just not, it's too cold. I'm not doing my outside workout. I'm not. But now that it's warm, I might have to step up and come up to the challenge.
Well, I don't know if Luke wants to do 75 hard challenge either.
Yeah.
No, I won't do
it. So, right? Yeah.
It takes a different mental toughness, and you're right. When I was up in Michigan a couple months ago during like a blizzard, I had to go work out outside.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun, but I logged the workout and it got done. But yeah, I think the whole water in a backpack, you might start a trend.
Yes, seriously.
Like,
we all just do.
How many people do you think need 3 liters of water every day? All of them?
Yes. Right.
Yeah. Why don't you just fill up a Camelback and walk around your office with a little water backpack all day, so you don't have to worry about where your cup is, or where you left your hydro flask or your Nalgene bottle. Like, yeah, the backpack's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. I really did. For a while, I was putting water at every station because it was just, because I'm like, before I knew it, the day was over, and I'm like, okay, you've had 2 glasses of water. Like, dang it. So yeah, I might just start it. I think it's good.
Get it. Show me a picture when you get it.
I will. Mm-hmm.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Invisired. Let's hustle.
Yes.
So let's talk more about the profession as a whole. Sounds like you've had, looks like 25 years,
Yes.
over 25 years of being a chiropractor, as I call it, delivering the goods.
Yes.
You've been doing that for 25 years plus. Let's add 20 more to that. Where's the profession going?
Well, like I said, I hope back to the truth. I hope back to even just the nervous system. You know, I'm interviewing for associate positions, and how many associates or new grads are really, I don't have rehab in my office. And so they are super passionate about rehab, and there's nothing wrong with rehab. I'm totally cool doing rehab. Don't misunderstand. But really, I hope that we get back to, again, allowing people to help their bodies heal on a whole nother level. So, and it's time. We're primed. Everyone is sitting asking, what do I need to do? And so I think it can explode. I know my practice, I know all the clients that I coach, they're all hitting record numbers, and have been since the pandemic, because people really do want what we have. I really believe that more than ever. And so it's time. I mean, there's no reason why we can't be, this is the time that our profession explodes.
So, who are some people, either from your personal life or maybe historical figures or even fictional figures, like, who's inspired you to be you? Who's fired you up your whole life?
Yeah. So in the profession, definitely. I mean, I grew up in Parker seminars. So James Sigafus and Jim Parker. I got turned on to Larry Markson early on, and I consider him, I mean, we're friends today. He's probably impacted me the most in this profession, as far as who I am as a doctor, as a parent, as a partner, all of those things. So it's, really teaching me that it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. And it really is who I am determines how well what I do works, is what he would always say and still says today. And so, it takes the victim mode out of it. It's super easy for us, whether we chiropractic profession or just in our personal lives, to fall victim and, well, this and, oh, insurance is no good in my state, and all the reasons. And, he taught me, it's like, no, it's you. It's always you. Period. It's your mindset, it's your actions, it's you. And so, biggest gift I could have ever gotten, because it really did, it makes you evaluate everything. And that's what I bring to my coaching, is like, no, it's always you. Like, fix you and everything else falls into place. So he's definitely, and Louise Hay, I would say, outside of the profession. I love her work so much. I got my certification through her coaching program, but it's the same kind of thing. She teaches affirmations and visualizations, and just really teaching you that you can create any life you want. It's really just up to you. So
If you could pick any one person from history to have dinner or lunch with, who would you pick?
I was thinking about that. And I think originally I was thinking about Louise Hay, because, she's passed on. And so I kind of would like to know, like, hey, everything you've taught me all these years, is it all true? Is it really all true? Because I feel it in my soul, but is it true? But then I also have been thinking about, I don't know where this came from, but Mabel Palmer, because I would love to know, I know nothing about her. And I'd love to know, like, her take on this whole thing. And like, when I think about it, I think about, I know she was very involved, but there had to be times, she's sitting on the sideline, like rolling her eyes, like, oh, here he goes again, So I'd love to just know more about him, or more about her, and not even just the role that she played, but what was she thinking through all those times. I think that'd be super interesting. So I bought a book. So I'll let you know.
Is it called Finding Mabel?
It is. Yes. Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I've heard good things about it.
Well, good.
And yeah. I really believe, I'm sure she was a part of the selection process when they hired Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you kidding me?
Uh-huh.
Like, to be a part of that, like, that's a part, like, it's so blurry to me. Like, in the history of chiropractic, like, one of the presidents of our fine country was started as a news anchor for the Palmer radio station.
Yeah.
And to know that she would have had somewhat of a hand in selecting him
Mm-hmm.
in the hiring process, like, how cool is that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Most people don't know that stuff. So
No?
I look forward to catching up with you after you finish finding Mabel.
Yes, I'll let you know.
Yeah, heroes are important. I think that it's really important to show our reverence towards where we've come from. You know, one of my brothers would always tell me the best thing about you, James, is you never forgot where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think paying, tribute to Parker and Markson and some people that have helped inspire you to become who you are is so important, because a lot of times we become who we are. And a lot of people never get a chance to understand who had an active role into our development. So, lifetime achievement award for some of those names, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's crazy. Just so grateful, that because I know there's so many chiropractors that haven't had access to those people. And so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And as we start to wind this episode down, why don't you share with us maybe a testimonial or two from an impactful an adjustment you've given to one of your patients that really changed their life?
Yeah. I could go on for days about this, but if I have to pick one, I think it's always the kids that impact me the most, because I just think about, we changed their trajectory early on. And so one of my favorites is we were working with these twin boys, and both were on the spectrum. And so they had sensory disorders. They, eating was poor mom. Like, she was just always struggling to get food into these kids. And one brother was a little more verbal than the other, but they didn't really say complete sentences. They'd get a word or two out. And one of their adjustments, one of the twins, uh, like, he hadn't eaten. Like, mom's just got done telling me how, like, seriously, I'm stressing out. Like, you got to stop feeding him junk food. And she's like, he won't eat anything, like, for real, he will eat nothing. And so we're going on and on. So we adjust him. He hops off the table, looks at his mom, and is like, let's go get lunch. And she's like, what? Like, he's never said a sentence before, and his first sentence is, let's go get lunch. So it was like just super powerful. And we just stared at each other, and a minute later we're both bawling. And and so he just became more and more verbal as we were adjusting him. So and eating more, less sensory disorders. So that's, it's like chiropractic gave her kid back. And so they were able to communicate and able to feed him and those things. So yeah, I could cry thinking about it. So, but that's the power. And when you were talking about earlier about rebranding, it's like, and here we are, all we're talking about on even Facebook ads or billboards or whatever is sciatica. And like, yes, I love that we can get rid of sciatica, but man, that's like nothing compared to what can actually happen in the body when we turn the power on. So I hope that we do rebrand it. I'm with you there.
Well, we have to move away from the tunnel vision of what other people have tunneled us into.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have to talk more full spectrum
Yes.
about what chiropractic really is. And that's why, these messages and these stories matter, because now we have this beautiful tapestry that we're creating with this chiropractic narrative that we have a resource for, and that people can go back and listen to. And I was just saying this in our last interview, 20 years from now, somebody's going to go listen to this.
Yes.
And they're going to dust it off, digitally dust it off. And they're going to be like, wow, that stuff was super powerful and relevant.
Yes.
And we might be stardust at that point. Who knows? But the message is going to be relevant. And the people are going to have an opportunity to go back and to see what we were talking about on, what is it, April 5th, 2022. And your episode 366. So the time capsule is going to be alive from this day going forward forever.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
And as we start to wrap up, maybe you could share some websites or web links with our listeners about how they can find out more about you.
Absolutely. So just my chiropractic page is mitchellfamilychiro.com. And they can contact me there, through email, so forth. If anybody has any questions, anything like that. My coaching program is the name of my business is Creating You 2.0. So the website is creatingyou20.com. And so that's where I have a 6-week online program that people can sign up for to go through the program, or I do one-on-one coaching. So it's really whatever they're interested in. But yeah, even when I'm at the schools, it's like, I want to be a resource. I want to see our profession thrive. I want to see our doctors thrive. So any way I can help, man, I'm in.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up episode 366 of Chiro Hustle. Dr. Susan, thank you for being our guest.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And before we close, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you like to share with our audience today?
Last thing is, people are praying for you. Like, people are praying for the answers that you have in your hands and in your mind. So how dare you not share it? How dare you not tell people who you are and what you can do for them? Because people are crying and praying for the answers, and you've got them. So go tell them.
I like it. Tell the truth about chiropractic. Dr. Susan, I just want to acknowledge you and thank you for being our guest today. And we want to have you have an awesome day down there in Bloomington, Illinois.
Yes. Thank you so much. You too.
All right. We'll see you next time.
All right. Sounds great. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.